I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I'm Julie and I'm here with Janene. And today we're going to go ahead and work with you and talk with you about the role of IT in the colleague experience. As we go through our agenda today, we're going to provide you with an introductions of ourselves, and we'll also let you know what companies are looking for today and how they intertwine within that colleague experience. As I had mentioned, I'm Julie Jaworski, and I started working in business in high school. After high school graduating, I ended up joining the company that I was working for and stayed there for 19 years until my job was transferred out of state. At that point, I needed to figure out what I should do, and I went back to school and obtained my IT networking degree. That brought a lot more challenges and adventures for me. And getting back into the workforce after going through school, I started out at the help desk and quickly moved on into a business analyst role and then into the IT manager for the department. We then had a merger with two other companies within the state of Wisconsin. And so we became one company and we needed to kind of hone in on our skills. And so my job moved into the IT business systems manager. I work today with business analyst, systems analyst, and the quality assurance team. And all in all, our team works directly with the programmers. And things that we're going to be talking about today have developed from my experience working with the team and also working with the programming team, because we are all key in regards to the operations within IT.
And I am Janene Beck-Hafner, and I work in our Talent, Learning, and Culture division, which is technically HR. So you're probably all wondering, what in the world is an HR individual working together with an IT individual and having a conversation at a conference? And really, the introduction is about the IT, the colleague experience and the role of IT within colleague experience. When we talk about colleague experience, we talk about it being from the moment someone sees your advertisement in regards to the position that you may have opened in your organization, to the actual recruitment process, through the onboarding process, through their experience within the organization until they leave the organization. And IT, especially these days, plays a very huge role within that whole realm of colleague experience. Colleagues are involved or should be involved when it comes to software changes, building power apps. And I often tell Julie I'm probably her worst nightmare, right, as far as the HR person that comes to IT, because I'm the person who comes to her and says, Julie, I need to do this, and I need to have it do this and report out this, and I need it by this point in time. And, you know, that is all the role of the colleague experience and all entirely the role that I need supporting me within the organization. So that's where a partnership comes in within the colleague experience, is really working together, pairing information technology with our human resources to really support that colleague experience throughout.
So as we go through our session today, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask those questions, and Janene and I will work through those with you, or we'll go ahead and answer anything that comes up at the end of our session. So one of the first things that we really need to talk about is soft skills. And what are these things we call soft skills? I kind of say it's the catch-all term referring to the behaviors that help people work and socialize well with others. In short, they are the good manners, the personality traits that we need to get along with others and build positive relationships. We have our teams that we need to work with, and we have our colleagues who are coming to us, and we need to build those relationships. Unlike the hard skills, which includes the technical skills and the ability to perform our job functions, soft skills are broadly applicable across jobs, titles, and industries. It is often said that hard skills will help you get that job interview, but it is needed, soft skills are needed to help you keep that job. Having those technical skills and knowledge are successful to execute our job duties, and it is only one of the parts to be within the workplace. No matter what our position, organization, or industry we work in with people, taking the time to build effective soft skills can lead to more efficient, more harmonious, and more productive workplaces, as well as our overall job satisfaction and happiness. The soft skills encompass both innate personality traits such as optimism and the abilities that we can practice such as empathy. Like all soft skills, they can be learned. Soft skills are personality characteristics that allows us to effectively relate to others. Applying these soft skills help us build stronger work relationships, work more productively, and maximize our career prospects. Often we found the process of our career development efforts are on the soft skills, the technical skills, and the sector-specific training, and other skills specific to the ability to get the work done. Unfortunately, by not developing of the soft skills, it actually comes at it is an expense that we have foresee. It's unfortunate because unlike the sector-specific training, soft skills are transferable to any job industry and any organization. As I said, I moved from one company and moved into IT. I was working office supplies and moved into IT. So you can see how my soft skills went from one organization and industry to the next. So we need them to go hand in hand, the soft and hard skills. They are an investment worth making, and the soft skills aren't just about business or building careers, they're about life and living. So most of us think of the hard skills that people are looking for when they hire us, but they are also some of these soft skills that we are going to be bringing up as well. We'll go through in more detail the leadership, teamwork, problem solving, communication, interpersonal, work ethic, dependability, solution focused, flexibility, and adaptability skills.
We're going to start and like you to kind of picture when we talk about leadership skills, Julie just listed leadership skills and a whole grouping of other things, teamwork and collaboration and so on and so forth. But really, I want you to think about leadership skills as being this overarching umbrella to all of the soft skills that we are going to talk about today. It is really truly about being leaders within our organizations. And it's not, when we say leaders, it's not about a title. It's about the work that you do each day, what you choose to do each day, how you choose to do it each day. As this slide says, great leaders don't tell you what to do, they show you how it's done. So we're going to listen to just a quick little snippet here of Simon Sinek talking a little bit about leadership, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Leadership is not a rank. Leadership is not a position. Leadership is a decision. Leadership is a choice. It has nothing to do with your position in the organization. If you decide to look after the person to the left of you and look after the person to the right of you, you have become a leader. Sometimes you're the problem. We've seen this happen all too recently with our new men of science and empirical studiers and these men of finance who are smarter than the rest of us until the thing collapsed. And they blamed everything else except themselves. And my point is take accountability for your actions. You can take all the credit in the world for the things that you do right, as long as you also take responsibility for the things you do wrong. It must be a balanced equation. You don't get it one way and not the other. You get to take credit when you also take accountability. You want to be an elite warrior. It's not about how tough you are. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about how fast you are. If you want to be an elite warrior, you better get really, really good at helping the person to the left of you and helping the person to the right of you. Because that's how people advance in the world. The world is too dangerous and the world is too difficult for you to think that you can do these things alone. If you find your spark, I commend you. Now, who are you going to ask for help, and when are you going to accept help when it's offered? Learn that skill. Learn by practicing helping each other. It'll be the single most valuable thing you ever learn in your entire life. To accept help when it's offered and to ask for it when you know that you can't do it. The amazing thing is, when you learn to ask for help, you'll discover that there are people all around you who've always wanted to help you. They just didn't think you needed it because you kept pretending that you had everything under control. And the minute you say, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm stuck, I'm scared, I don't think I can do this, you will find that lots of people who love you will rush in and take care of you. But that'll only happen if you learn to take care of them first.
And our apologies, I noticed some comments here in the chat that we do have some scratchiness to our videos. So hopefully that's something that will resolve. I'm not sure exactly why that's happening. That's Julie's role. No, that's our IT person's role, right? So hopefully that won't continue today, but I did notice it on my end as well. And again, our apologies. Any videos we do show today are pretty short, so hopefully that isn't a continuing thing. But going back to really what Simon Sinek is saying here is you really choose each day, like I talked about, to be a leader with your actions. Leaders don't necessarily support the work, but they support the people who support the work. And that's the role within IT as being part of that colleague experience. You all, whether it's business systems, help desks, analysts or analytics types of things, you are all supporting the people who do the work. And it's so very important to be sure to think about being a leader in the actions and behaviors that you choose each and every day. That's why we call this leadership skills kind of the umbrella to the soft skills, because it's really about being a leader. Teamwork and problem-solving skills. So again, under that umbrella of leadership skills is teamwork and problem-solving skills. Super important as we support the colleague experience that we work together as a team. If you have a team, of course, within your organization, as far as your business solutions team or your help desk team or whatever it might be. And it's really important that the teams have these 6 items as part of their traits, as part of their team. Clear and direct and common goals, clear direction and common goals. So they need to know as a team, what really is their role within the organization? How do they align as a team? How does this IT support, how does this IT team align with the vision, mission, and values of the organization? What's your common goal? What are your goals for the year? What are your goals for the quarter? What is your support going to be looking like for the organization? Open and honest communication is the second one. And that is talking about listening and really being open and honest. Listen more than you speak is something that you're going to hear as we go along today. Listening sends a message that that individual that's talking to you, whether it's on the phone, whether it's through communication like we're doing today, is being heard, and that they are valued and what they need is important. So really demonstrate that you're listening, make sure you paraphrase, make sure that you're able to repeat back to them what the issue or the problem may be, and restate it if you need to, and ask questions. Support risk and change. So teams that are strong support risk and change. They support one another in kind of asking the question, is it safe enough to try? We know we are aligned with our organization. These are our goals, and I'm going to try something, and hopefully Julie's going to support me in trying that something. And she's not going to point the finger at me if it doesn't work, right? She's not going to point the blame if it doesn't work. She's going to support me in what's safe enough to try. And we're going to have to be open to change as a team as well, and support change within our organizations. And I think it's pretty clear within many organizations, just technology in general, that change is the norm. Defined roles. A strong team needs defined roles. And really, it's important to know what each other's role is, but it's also important to respect the passions and also the strength areas of everyone within your team. So really know, not only is your defined role to do this specific job, but you might have, or your teammate might have a strength where you're able to be vulnerable and say, hey, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to call you over to help me. Be mutually accountable. And what that is about is just accepting responsibility as a team. Again, not blaming one another for mistakes, but together, you succeed together and you fail together, and it's okay to fail. And then lastly, team trust. So really, under that umbrella of leadership and having a strong team that works together as a team and solves problems very well, there does need to be trust. And trust is part of, or a result of, really effective communication. So people will trust you when they know you're listening and when you make them feel valued. Team trust can also be built through character and competence. So today we're talking about those soft skills, which are that character piece. And then we have the competencies, which are those hard skills that Julie's going to hit later, because those aren't my bag of beans, so to speak. I don't know those things very well, but character plus competency equals trust. If there's someone you know who's very approachable, that has a skill set that you need to solve your problem, you trust they're going to solve your problem.
So I was having some audio problems. You can hear me, correct? Okay, good. Okay, so effective communication skills. When we talk about communication skills, it's something that we do in our everyday life, not just in the work we do. We need to listen as much as we speak. Listen with your whole body and be alert and interested in what the other person is saying, and try to refrain from interrupting. Interrupting makes them feel like you're not listening. You never argue, never yell, and never use sarcasm. Watch your tone of voice when you're talking with someone, and always try to talk with a smile on your face when you're on the phone or even in person. Think positive thoughts and when writing emails, as well as when you're talking with others. Something that I learned a long time ago was using a mirror. I actually have a mirror right next to my desk today, and I always have it there. And when I look at it, I think of the words that I was trained: smile. And that then portrays a more positive outlook. So even when you're on the phone or writing that email to someone that you're just angry with, by having that mirror and smiling, it can change your whole tone. Reflect on yourself as well. You want to be present and empathetic, having a beginner's mindset and put yourself in the other person's shoes. Having empathy means to have the ability to understand and know the feelings that the other person is having. And sometimes we don't know what they're experiencing because we've never had that experience. So we don't know exactly how they're feeling. So we kind of have to listen to them so that we can try to help them as well. You want to be clear, articulate, and concise. Sometimes less is more when it comes to speaking. And clarify and summarize what you heard so that they know you were listening to them. And then we need to consider generational differences. And when I talk about generational differences, I want to kind of point out the following slide here. As you can see, if we look at the millenniums and then we look at the silent generation, you can see how much the drop in just cell phones have decreased. And if we go to the 75 and older, it drops even more. I don't have a gaming console, but most of the millenniums nowadays do. And knowing the generational differences as we go through and work with people, it will help us understand. And we'll get to that into a little bit more detail as well as we start going through. When we think about interpersonal skills, we have those generational differences that we have to think about as well. We have to be able to read people from their voice. We need to be respectful and responsive to all colleagues equally. So you want to make sure that when you're talking to one person, you're talking to this next person the same way, and not think, oh, that person doesn't know anything because, you know, they're so much older. We need to support them across generations, and sometimes we do need to change how we talk with people because they might need a little bit more assistance. Effective communication and interpersonal skills go hand in hand. And hopefully this video will be a little bit less choppy, but I want to continue the discussion that we had from Simon in regards to communication.
You will be told your whole life that you need to learn to listen. I would say that you need to learn to be the last to speak. I see it in boardrooms every day of the week. Even people who consider themselves good leaders, who may actually be decent leaders, will walk into a room and say, here's the problem, here's what I think, but I'm interested in your opinion, let's go around the room. It's too late. The skill to hold your opinions to yourself until everyone has spoken does two things. One, it gives everybody else the feeling that they have been heard. It gives everyone else the ability to feel that they have contributed. And two, you get the benefit of hearing what everybody else has to think before you render your opinion. The skill is really to keep your opinions to yourself. If you agree with somebody, don't nod yes. If you disagree with somebody, don't nod no. Simply sit there, take it all in, and the only thing you're allowed to do is ask questions so that you can understand what they mean and why they have the opinion that they have. You must understand from where they are speaking, why they have the opinion they have, not just what they are saying. And at the end, you will get your turn. It sounds easy, it's not. Practice being the last to speak. That's what Nelson Mandela did.
When Janene first shared this video with me, I was watching it and I listened, but I really didn't take it to heart until a couple weeks after, and I was sitting in a meeting and my head notoriously went to nod when I was in agreement with somebody. And then at one point I was going to shake my head like, no, you can't do that. And I remembered Simon talking about this, be the last to speak. And by not shaking your head or yes or no, is that indication? And think about that next time you're in a meeting and you're shaking your head. And by doing that too, we're watching the other people and we might judge them by watching them shake their head. Sometimes we don't think about what that person, you know, someone who we're helping. And sometimes we've come up with an acronym for people and I say it's a picnic. It's the problem in the chair, not in the computer. And in the end, it could be a problem with the program and it wasn't the person. And so we have to kind of remember and think back to our soft skills and listening and communication so we don't judge people. Not paying attention to that person you are talking to and interrupting them makes you look like you're not paying attention. You want to make sure you're paying attention to them, and like we said earlier, with your whole body. And using that technical language, when I was in the office supply industry and I had to talk to our IT professional, he would always talk like he was on the 20th floor of a building. And I would always have to ask him to bring that back down to the ground level and really talk to me in my language. And we have to remember that when we're talking with people, when we're gathering the requirements or going through testing, that they don't understand what we say by, you know, script or server or something like that. We have to make sure that they understand what we're talking about and not using that technical language.
You will be
So huge in what Julie was just saying in regards to even technical language and speak and, you know, all of that, again, so integral in the colleague experience. It's that total experience, again, pulling us back to that someone has as they're working within an organization. So we're jumping into work ethic and dependability. And you see this little this little meme here that says, if a call center employees were honest, yes, I know how long you've been holding and I don't care. Well, you know, that's obviously not a great work ethic that we're showing there. But work ethic is really about your beliefs, and it's exhibited in your behaviors. So if you believe in determination and hard work, your behaviors will exhibit that as a colleague, as an employee. You know, that'll definitely affect your interaction with people. It'll definitely affect the colleague experience. Work ethic, again, your beliefs. What do you believe, and how do you behave in response to help desk calls? How do you behave in response to supporting someone through needing a business systems change, needing something built to collect data, whatever it might be? And then dependability in the second half of that is you know, thinking about how this has really changed, right? And it's in particular, of course, COVID has changed our world, and where many of us are working from home. And in the past, you know, it used to be, back when I was working years ago, it used to be pick up the phone and someone would answer, and help desk, this is Mark speaking, would be, you know, the response, and you'd share your problem. They might jump onto your computer remotely and of course help you fix it. And that is still the case in many of our organizations. We're fortunate in our organization, we have a real level, so we do have that opportunity to utilize that phone number, or we also have the opportunity to chat, Teams chat someone. My Teams chat person, as you probably can well imagine here on the call, is Julie. Or we can have the opportunity to put in an IT help desk ticket when we're having an issue. And it's that dependability piece. It's getting back to people. And, you know, even though, and I'm going to have Julie advance to the next slide. Even though it's 1 minute before you're ready to log out or end for the day, you get that call, right? And people are aware that they're calling 1 minute before the end of the day. You still answer that call. So the other key pieces for work ethic and dependability are really to think about these key things. Act as an ambassador of the organization or company. Know the vision, mission, and values of the organization, and utilize those and think about those as you work each and every day within your organization. And again, this is something that we all need as part of those leadership skills and those soft skills. Prioritize your professional responsibilities so that, of course, we're getting back to people and making sure that we have that great customer service. Make sure you seek out professional development, as you all are doing today. We all need professional development. We all need to develop and grow. There are many areas in which all of us can develop, and there's many opportunities and different ways to do that. Review your work, have someone else review your work and give you feedback. That's all part of that work ethic and dependability piece. Like we talked about earlier, showing respect to others. And lastly, again, I cannot iterate enough, know your company's vision, mission, and values, and try and ask yourself, maybe on a weekly basis, is there something I did this week that aligned with the values, the vision, mission, and values of my organization? And see if you can think of something that aligned with those values.
So, and finally, everything leads to flexible, adaptable, and accountable. We need to be ready for everything that changes every day, and because it's the core of the IT business. Being accountable and admitting to our errors that we have made on our projects, taking the responsibility for our words and actions. And we must be able to trust one another that we work with to stay on top of the responsibilities that we all have to do every day. Even if you're not in the office working, we still have to be responsible and communicate with everybody every day and be accountable for the work we're doing. Increasing accountability also increases trust. We also need to focus on the nuggets. And we're just going to play another short little video here. And
put a field around us now! I've never done one that big. Do it now! Abort, abort, abort!
So it's important to be flexible like Gumby, but not necessary to be a superhero and save everyone like you've seen in the video. We need to continue to focus on the core values of our organization by being open-minded, continue to develop your skill sets, and be optimistic about what's coming up and what changes are coming. And when something happens, stay calm, but plan ahead. Know what's coming ahead. Don't just look at what's due tomorrow, look what's due next week. And have that strong support network within your team, because in the end, you're all going to be working together, and it is the core of making sure that our soft skills are working. So now that we've talked about the soft skills, we're going to kind of go quickly through our hard skills that we have within the IT organizations. There are some things with hard skills that they're easy to quantify. So like I said earlier, that's what gets us the interview, but it's not always what helps us keep the job. But it's important that we do have these soft skills moving in. Some of the common hard skills that are very popular in our high-tech age today is all employees must possess at least the basic knowledge of computer technology. And I know as we're IT professionals here today, we think, well, yeah, that's the way it works. And it is, but there are still a lot of people, if we go back to that generational grid, that don't have those computer skills. And it's important that we have those today. We also have to have effective communication, which is also viewed as a soft skill. But there are other ways as a hard skill that comes into realization for us. Some of those communication skills that we can stand up for as a hard skill is learning a foreign language, digital communication, or even copywriting and programming. Programming is another communication skill that we have to have if you want to be in that field. We also talk about data analysis. And when you hear data analysis, you think, well, that's a finance thing. Not really. It actually is used across all types of varieties of industries. And the ability to analyze the data that we have is information for the benefit of the company and is always extremely useful when you can analyze that data. When we talk about certificate and licenses, why is this considered a hard skill? Well, when you get a certificate or a license, it shows your employer that you can be trained, you can learn, and that's very important for them. And it also looks that you're looking to advance your skills. With programming, there's so many different languages out there, and networking, there's something new coming up every day. And so we need to possess those skills. So if you're in that specific industry or job and you want to work towards obtaining those certificates and licenses, ask your employer. They might be willing to cover some of those costs. And then marketing. Why do we think marketing is a hard skill? The ability to convince someone to purchase something, that's marketing. By telling someone you need to invest in a product or a service or something to help you get your job done better, the bottom line is you need to be able to market yourself and something new that you're recommending. Project management is something that's become very popular in the last couple of years, and you can now actually get degrees based on project management. It spans across various industries, including but not limited to IT, healthcare, and construction, are the main places we see project management today. But because of these project management skills, it's become valuable to many employees. One of the main skills employees are looking for today within project management is the agile methodology, such as Scrum and any type of project management software that you have knowledge in. While being artistically talented is a natural ability for some people, there are certain design elements and tools that must be learned through education or training. As technology has advanced, consumer standards for design has also increased. This is both a boon and a curse for all types of designers. While it means your skills are more in demand as a designer, it also means there are several new tools that you need to help learn to be successful in your career. As a network, internet technology has advanced, more and more businesses are turning to cloud computing. as a convenient data storage and management solution. This means that people have to have the skills to build and manage cloud networks, and they are in high demand. Some of the examples of the hard skills for cloud computing professionals is the cloud architect, storage and data management, network communication, and cloud applications. All of those revolve from the programming that needs to help with that cloud management. We also look at mobile. There are many new websites that are created every second, and over 6,000 apps were released per day in the first quarter of 2018 for just Android devices. These websites and apps can only be created by people who with the necessary mobile and web development skills. So you got to keep that in mind. And lastly, the company's data is priceless. It is sensitive data. If sensitive data is leaked or stolen due to faulty network security or structure, it could cost a company thousands, if not millions of dollars. IT professionals who have the skills to help protect that data are in higher demand than ever before. You may be wondering why we had to go through all of that, the soft and hard skills in so much detail to get to the core of our presentation of the top tips of working with colleagues. It's important to remind ourselves of these skills as we work with our colleagues.
So the first thing you see listed here is character plus competency equals trust. Character is what we talked about today, those leadership skills, the teamwork, problem-solving skills, the communication, interpersonal skills, the work ethic and dependability, and also the solutions-focused flexibility and accountability, flexible and accountable. It's character plus competency. I won't list everything Julie just talked about, but it's all of those hard skills, competencies, the computer technology skills, the certifications and licenses, the cloud computing and the network security that she just talked about. That equals trust. Trust in your team, trust in your division of IT folks, and it also enhances that colleague experience. The second tip, it says don't hide, but what we're going to talk about here is really kind of those frequent flyers, those individuals or those folks that are repeat, callers, frequent flyers. It's going to happen. It's going to happen within any organization, and we really need to draw upon our soft skills and our competency skills, so our character and competency, so that if and when you hear that individual kind of coming down the hall, if we're in person again, or if you have that call again, we're going to show you a little video and saying, we hope that this isn't the response to the frequent flyers or the frequent callers. So, yep, that's that don't hide piece, right? Or don't be busy, or I really hope I'm not the one that they're sending that Teams chat out about. But anyways, just as kind of a little joke or a little funny aside. So being vulnerable, again, is a top tip of working with colleagues. It's okay to say, I don't know. Having the courage and integrity to abort the mission, like you saw in the Little Incredibles video that we showed you. They aborted the mission, and it's okay to stop. It's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to maybe have to go back to the beginning with any type of a project that it may be. Having vulnerability, courage, and integrity is going to really develop that trust and really support that colleague experience.
So we also say no need to fill the dead air. With those of us who have done some quality assurance and have done testing, now that we're doing it virtually, everybody is online and we have nobody talking. It's not necessary to fill that dead air, but if you are trying to help somebody fix something that is broken, you do occasionally want to tell them, sorry to keep you waiting, keep them informed, I'm working on it. So not filling that dead air with senseless talk, because people are trying to work on the other end of that line too. And if you do think that there is a little chit chat that needs to be happening, talk about the weather. talk about, what the kids are doing or what your plans are for the weekend, but please try to avoid politics, because that can bring up a whole new soft skill we need to come back to and try to bring back around the table. And one of the key takeaways is to remember, as the IT expert, sometimes a simple whisper on the other end of the phone, it can sound like you're yelling at someone. So don't whisper something under your breath, or if you're going to say something, make sure that you are talking with them. So again, remember, no need to fill that dead air. With reassurance, we all know that reassurance means the action taken to help remove the doubts and fears of someone. But how does reassurance help a user you're working with? Witness the fear the user is coming to you with. They might be saying something, I uploaded the update to the system and now nothing is working. And for them, that's, make it fix. And for us in the programming and quality assurance roles, that's scary. They don't know how we're feeling. They just want it fixed. So we need to make sure, it's kind of like when someone comes to someone at the help desk and says, I spilled a cup of coffee on my computer. They're scared that they're going to be walked out of the office that day. It's the same way we feel when we release a product and it's not working correctly. When you're thinking about empathy, we need to remember the soft skills of listening. When you listen to the colleagues and the ability to sense their emotions, they will be heard. Being able to understand their fear and anxiety helps them feel more relieved and that you are understanding them. And when someone calls and tells you that they're sorry, help them. Have that empathy. Like I said, they spilled the coffee on their computer. Have the empathy with them to tell them, it's okay, we'll get through this. And then consistency. It's really important for when someone calls and they talk to one person and need some help, and then the problem happens again and they call back and they get somebody else on the development team and they say, well, so-and-so, this happened, or this is what should have happened. We want to make sure that we have the consistency of making sure that we are supporting each other and our teammates, and that the message we're relaying out to them is the same. By not having this consistency, it makes them feel like we don't know what we're talking about in IT, but we want to remember that consistency equals a better image for IT.
You're kidding, right?
And that is what we have for you today. I did see a question come through, and I am actually very intrigued, and something that we did not think about that Janine and I think we need to definitely bring into our presentation. When we're talking about generational differences, we should also talk about the racial and gender differences as well, because you are absolutely correct. When we are talking with people and we're working with people, we have to remember that as well, because the same differences goes with the generational differences as well. So I really appreciate that comment that came through. Thank you. Any other questions or comments for us today? Okay. We definitely wanted to share our acknowledgments to the information that we have shared today. So we do have those available as well if you have. And we want to thank everyone for joining us. We are just right at our 45-minute mark, so we're doing great on time. Janine and I are both on LinkedIn, so if you've liked what you heard and you want to connect with us afterwards, you can certainly do it through the chat we have through the conference, or you can also look us up on LinkedIn. Thank you, everyone, for your time today.
Thank you all, especially on a Saturday.